short guys gain muscle much easier than taller guys. If you're a guy that's out there, you're like 5'10" and below, and maybe you're a little bit self-conscious about it, thinking that you're not 6 foot, which is basically the minimum requirement for most women to be attracted to you, because women mainly look at height first. Fear not, because if you're a shorter guy, you're underneath 5'10", you actually have the advantage when it comes to muscle building, and I'm gonna give you multiple examples throughout this video. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, because I have a special little tidbit that'll really emphasize this for you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or drag this video along. The proof is in the pudding. Let's look at some of the examples in the body community right now. Look at people like the Trend Twins, Alex Eubank, even Sam Sulek. The Trend Twins are like 5'7", 5'8". Alex Eubank is like 5'10", but I really feel like he's like 5'9.5". And Sam Sulek is only 5'11", and all of these are underneath 6 foot. You might be saying, oh, Alton, like Sam Sulek doesn't count, even Alex Eubank. If you're 5'9", you're actually a good height. Guys, to women, anything underneath 5'10" is like deplorable. I hate to cut it to you, but these guys are on the shorter side of the spectrum, and they're all really good at building muscle. Versus, look at some of the taller guys in the bodybuilding, like muscle gaining community. Somebody like Joe Fazer. Don't get me wrong, Joe Fazer has like a good physique, but if you've ever seen him not after a pump, so basically on maybe his day off, or like not in a picture where he clearly just had like a huge pump, he looks like your average dude. A lot of taller guys, since they do have the height advantage, they just become more lankier. Like they have that more tall, slender, lankier look, versus when you're shorter, you have like that stockier build. Even somebody like me, I sit right between like 5'9.5" and 5'10". I hate saying 5'9 3/4" because I just sound like a dweeb, but I'm still growing, so I'll probably settle out right around 5'10". And all of my life, guys, I'll see if I can find some pictures from when I was younger, but even as a baby, I looked like a stocky, like built, muscular kid. And that's because I always had a really nice athletic build and just like an athletic muscular frame, but I am a bit on the shorter side. Being 5'10" is like, to me, it's like the average height. 5'9" is actually average, but if you want like a little bit of advantage, being 5'10" is like the perfect height. And because I've always been around that 5'9.5", 5'10" area, my physique has always been on point. I'll put some pictures up on the screen, but that's one thing that people have always noticed and complimented me on my whole life. Even though I wasn't the tallest guy in the class, but I always had a nice, muscular, athletic physique. At work, guys, I'm a bartender, and so many of like the female bartenders, like we wear like these kind of tight black shirts, and they always, when they're passing by, they're always like touching my arms, touching my muscles. Like a lot of like the women that come to the bar compliment me on my physique, and I've always felt really blessed because I've always basically looked like this. Now, a lot of it does come down to genetics, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I have good genes as well, being like African-American, things like that, but also being shorter, it just makes it so much easier to put on muscle. You might say, oh, Alton, there are some like people like Bradley Martin, for example, and I'm not gonna lie, of course, Bradley Martin is yoked, but he's kind of an outlier. I think he's probably like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", something like that, but a lot of tall guys don't have that big, like stocky, bulky build like him. He's kind of in his own lane when it comes to that. Even if you look at certain sports, it's another good way to emphasize this. Look at football players versus basketball players. To be a basketball player, you have to be at least like 6'1", 6'2", and look at a basketball player's build versus a football player's build who is like 5'10", 5'11". Somebody like Odell Beckham Jr. versus Steph Curry. They might be kind of similar in heights, but you get what I'm saying. For basketball, you have to be tall. You have to, it's a taller sport, so you have to be like 6'3", 6'5", 6'6", and those guys are pretty skinny and lanky, and everybody knows that and sees that. You don't see a basketball player that's like really built and yoked. Versus with football players, a lot of those guys are a bit on the shorter side. Look at people like running backs. A lot of running backs are built. They look like machines. They look like tanks because they have to plow through people, and they have to have more of a muscular build. And being shorter makes it just easier to put on muscle. So this video is for those guys who are a little bit on the shorter end of the spectrum. Don't feel like, hey, you're out of the dating market, all this stuff, because women do see height first, but studies have shown that women also factor in like how big you are and how built you are. Again, you don't ever want to be like super huge bodybuilder build because that actually works against your favor. A lot of women think that's gross, especially if you are short. But if you just have like a good athletic build, everything is balanced, there's not like a one part of your body that's like too big in comparison to the other, women actually notice that and they like it. I'm living proof, guys. Again, being like 5'10", I've never been the tallest guy in the room, but I'm always the guy being complimented on my body frame. That's it for today's video, guys. Comment down below, do you guys agree with this? Are you on the shorter side of the spectrum? Comment your height. Don't feel bad, don't feel ashamed. Comment your height and let me know, has this played out in your own life? If you're a little bit shorter, have you noticed it's easier to put on muscle? if you're a little bit taller, have you noticed that you kind of have more of a lankier natural build? If you like today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button because I post videos every single day. I love you guys, and I'll be back very soon.